beneath your feet! Sacred grounds, watered with tears of blood! Shall we begin? Shall we begin? Shall we begin?
You know what the goal is here, right? To make you so out of sorts, so in search for your own damn sanity that you stay longer than you damn well know you should. To keep you wrapped up in those silly ass, manufactured ass arguments that keeps you from addressing their inconsistent behavior, all the cheating and lying that they're doing. This is all nothing but a ploy. You know, to keep you locked into the chaos while all the fuck shit just continues behind your back. Because you know what happens when we finally have enough, right? They'll be so disengaged, so ready for the new supply they got primed and prepped, that when they discard you or you decide to walk away, it leaves you questioning. Like, was any of this shit real? It wasn't worth $1,000 with $1,000 in your damn pocket. You are a byproduct of a facade. The Academy Award winning acting skills, the masterclass in manipulation of a whole ass walking fucking fraud. So don't get caught up in the minute details. Likely if it felt off, didn't sound right, didn't seem right, didn't look, walk, talk, or act like a fucking duck, did seem phony and fake, it was a narcissist doing what narcissists do, lying just because they got lips.
Told you it doesn't matter what your name is. It doesn't matter what your sign says. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter who you are and not. It doesn't matter what her name was.
Lose you, and I don't know where I am going to. Silk suit, like that. I don't need a reason why they come running just because they can. Every girl crazy about a shot that's me. About a shark ass man.
solid chat. How you guys doing out there? Thank you so much. I just want to say in the beginning, if you've had a hard week, you're not alone. A lot of us across the globe have had a difficult week. If you are a survivor of narcissistic abuse, if you doubt if you've been doubting yourself, you ain't been feeling your worth, you've been going through it. We all have. You ain't alone. The real fight isn't overcoming those past traumas, although that is part of the battle. The real fight is putting one foot in front of the other. It is to keep yourself pushing. It is to keep believing in yourself. It is to incrementally go every day by day, bettering yourself, taking a step in a positive direction, because we are all warriors on the battlefield of life. My love to y'all. Keep it pushing. And real quick, before I begin, Bear Nerd Fun had a heart attack this week. Good friend of mine. You've seen him on the intro. Hail the Fourth Wave. One of the first people I started streaming with. My love to him, his family. He is recovering right now, and I hope my love to you, dude. I love you, Bear. I hope you're doing well, man. So without further ado, I want to introduce my panel. And with me tonight is my wonderful co-host. First, Scott Clark. What is going on, Scotty? How are you, bud?
Hey, Steven. I'm doing well, man. Doing good. Thank you very much.
You're looking extra slick. Did you take a shower for the stream, put some Aqua Velva on? I'm not saying I swing that way. I'm just saying you look good tonight. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I brushed my hair. Brush my teeth. Yeah.
Wash your hands and wash your ass. Good boy.
Yeah.
All right. Also with us tonight is the newest member of our panel, someone whom I've been watching for a while now, helped me in my recovery. One of the best coaches out there. Please check out his TikTok. Everything is in the description below. Welcome, Coach Randy White. What's up, Randy?
Hey, what's up, guys? What kind of party we at here? I heard something about not swinging a certain way.
I was just saying, Scott looks particularly good tonight. I'm not questioning. Yeah, I recognize that. I don't think man love is gay. I'm loving my brother right now.
No, for sure. Looking very sharp. Very sharp, Scott. Good to see you as well, Scott.
Hey, good to see you too.
So I just want to acknowledge the chat a little bit before we start off. Deborah Cohen, the Dragon Storm Secretary, is here. She says, here. Good. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here, sweetheart. Christine is in the chat. Already follow him. Good, because Marcus has been one of my guiding lights, man. I required in my healing a man or a woman who was just no nonsense. You guys heard me talk about Lisa Lou. I love Lisa Lou because she no nonsense. So is Marcus Weaver. So I really appreciate him. Wanted to cover him tonight. I mean, Scotty, what kind of motivation did you need? What kind of coaching enlightenment did you need from different creators? Was it tough love or was it information?
When I got on my healing journey, it was around January of 2022 when I started to realize what I just got out of. Basically like a bomb went off and I just went flying, and I was just expelled from a lot of things in my life. And I had no idea that people could treat other people this way. And so a friend of mine who I was talking to told me to look up, or actually they sent me, I was grieving. I don't know what's going on with my life. It's just everything just fell apart. And they texted me a couple of links to Dr. Ramani. And from there, the algorithm started putting narcissism videos in my feed. Right. And so I didn't know what I was looking for, but there's a lot of different personalities that have gone through this. I'm an advocate for sort of finding out who you are by going to 16personalities.com. I'm an INFP myself. I'm an introvert, introspective, feeling, perceiving. And so there's different personalities, and a lot of people can go through this kind of thing. So I wasn't really looking for something, but eventually I kind of hone in with what works for me. We talked a couple of weeks ago about, or was it last week? Sean Howerton, and we talked about that she, as a mother, has that kind of a mothering female thing. But then there's male coaches as well, such as Coach Randy, that is just, tough and gets to the point and is no nonsense. And I love that too. Matter of fact, I probably need that more than a mothering thing personally. I need more of that masculine male influence in my life personally. But I'm still trying to figure it out. But I would probably befriend Randy's personality more than a female.
All right. What about you, Randy? What did you need when you were coming through it?
I would say, my story is, similar to yours, Scott, where, towards the end, I started kind of seeing all these patterns. I started really picking up on intermittent reinforcement. A few days before each of the big discards, she would be telling me, how well I was doing and everything's so amazing. And can't believe we made it through those, other tough times. And I'm just like, yeah, so perfect. And then, a couple of days later, all of a sudden, poof, gone like a ghost. Just, it's not working. I'm done with this, and just gone. And I finally started picking up on this. Well, it was a few days before the 9th and final that the TikTok algorithm had already hit. And it started hitting. And so for me, it was really like, I just was overwhelmed with all this information. And I saw a theatrical side and I saw a straight and forward side. And so for me, it was just the straight and forward. What is it? What is the patterns, the traits, the behaviors? Give me it. Don't waste my time. I just want to know what's going on and what I can look for in my own, recovery and start opening up my eyes. So for me, it was just somebody that's not theatrical.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. There you go. Christina, I'm glad you're following him. And thank you guys for your insights. Illuminating Manuscript is here. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here. Now, I have to have something here. Randy, I'm going to put you on the spot for a second. We got a comment in the chat, if you don't mind, Coach.
Let's do it.
All right. Social Life says, hey, y'all, I'm not trying to outdo anyone, but my narc is almost one of a kind. He is the sickest. I wish I had someone to talk to. I've been through the ringer, but I'm better than him. Any advice for Social Life?
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is, number one, I mean, it's so great that you're using the power of your voice to declare that you're better than him, right? And so you already know this, and that's amazing. So number one, you just need to continue to remember that and cultivate that, deep self-belief, right? That's number one. Number two, continue to get all the education that you can about what narcissists are. What is their tactics, their behaviors, their traits? What are the things that you can look for? And then it really depends on what you want to do next. You're talking about, I wish I had someone to talk to. I've been through the ringer. Like, what are you trying to do though? My suggestion, you cannot make a relationship with a narcissist work ever. So you really need to be making an exit plan, right? And that exit plan needs to include educating yourself, talking to maybe even an expert. I recommend to everybody that I coach, go find somebody local that you can sit down with, a therapist or a psychologist that, specializes in this type of behavior, or a coach off of, the internet or something. If you can find a good coach that can help you, get an exit plan. And then the next would be take that exit plan to your support system, the people in your life, your immediate circle that you can trust, and let them know what you're about to do. Get their buy-in, make sure they understand what you're going through, and then just execute against that plan. That's exactly what I would recommend.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach. We're praying for your Social Life, and I'm glad to see you are here. The Dragon Throne community, we're here looking out for one another, and thank you for being here. There's Adventure with Beth, one of our homies. Thank you so much, sweetheart. And as Deborah says, don't be afraid to tell your stories, no matter. You matter. Your story is important, and your voice is important. Absolutely, Deborah. Thank you so very much. Social also says, I feel like I had to scream it out. This thing was diabolical. 23 years of my life. That is such a huge chunk of your life. And it is going to take a while to basically unfuck yourself. It's going to take a while to get through the traumas, the triggers. My advice would be to look inward, go to coaching, go to therapy, talk to somebody professional. Not only do you have to undo the damage this person did in you throughout your life, but figure out if there was any childhood traumas or anything early in life that made you susceptible to that con artist manipulations and kept you trapped in there. Take this as a chance. I push this a lot. I know everybody's story is different. Everybody's healing journey is different. But for me, it's been a search for self, figuring out who I am and why I was the way that I was and why I look for abusive women or abusive people. So once you figure that out, you're going to discover strengths within yourself that you have never found before. I guarantee it. My love to you, sweetie. So I just want to recognize a couple more people in the chat. What's up? Angela's here. How you doing, sweetheart? Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And she says, thank you, Randy. You're welcome. All right. Let's see. So I have been watching Marcus for a long time now, and I really enjoy his motivational style. And it's just no nonsense. Tell you how it is. Tell you what the narc's about. And we're going to take a look at his. Let's see if we bring it up, if I can do it correctly. This is Marcus Weavers. Weave Told Me on Instagram. This is where I found him. There are links to his website, guys, in the description below, and all of his information. Please follow him and give him some support. He's been doing this for a while now. He describes himself as a personal coach, helping you to recover after breakups and toxic relationships. The husband, father, coach, and entrepreneur. Please check out all of his content, and if you enjoy his style, share it out. It really means a lot to anyone who's doing, who's like an independent creator, to have their links shared out, their voice, their voice put out there, their message by others who are helping to share, spread that message. So if you appreciate that, please do so. And we are going to cover, we're going to cover his latest one first, because I actually like this one. Give me one moment. I think I have to unmute it. Yeah, I gotta unmute it.
They just gaslit you.
All right, here we go. Let's try it again.
Oh yeah, they expect shit to just go back to normal. And they just gaslit you. Triggered an emotional reaction. Gave you the silent treatment for some dumb shit. The silent treatment where you apologize for shit that you actually never even did. And after all they've put you through emotionally, they really think in their rabbit ass mind that you should just move past the shit. And how triggering is that? Here you are, upset, crying, frustrating, wanting to literally scream. And they're acting like shit never happened. But this is part of the personality, the ego, the entitlement. They always get their way. And when they don't, some fuck shit immediately ensues. And you somehow always seem to be the target. And you know something? It scars you. It changes you. And you take on this dark ass meanness. Makes you quickly get upset about things. It causes you to make behavioral changes because your home life is fucking up your emotional balance. And think about that. Someone who loves you has an expectation that you don't deserve a response. And if you get one, it's them yelling and screaming, shaming and blaming, all while you just want to be fucking loved. Oh yeah, they expect shit.
Oh, the emotional manipulation and how it changes us. That's something that I had to deal with myself. Because when you come, from my experience, when I came out of it, I had to go back and really look at, I don't want to be like this person. I don't want to act like this person, which led me on my introspective journey. It led me to discovering through what's called reactive abuse, how I had acted, how because of all the lies, the manipulation, the smear campaigns, the hooverings, and all of these things, I began to validate acting like the narcissist or a narcissistic to get back at her and get back at the people that hurt me. And part of my healing journey has been having to recognize that and know that not only did I get manipulated and played, but I was actually changed by this person in negative ways and was self-destructive to myself. And you have to admit that, it's a part of healing. And there's only so much apologizing you can do, to anyone that you may have affected, but it's so very important to recognize those things and accept them for what they were, and then make the proper changes to yourself. I mean, Scotty, how did you feel about the manipulation? Like, did it change you when you were going through it?
It was a process of about 5 years. Started with love bombing, of course. Tons of great chemicals in my body. I felt very loved, appreciated, a lot of attention. I did realize during that time period that I never really got anything deep back from the person, whereas I will go deep. I love going deep. I want a serious connection with my guy friends, with my girlfriends, with everybody. I don't like superficial anything. I like authenticity. Once it got towards the end, I realized that nothing was true. Words and actions weren't aligning. Gaslighting was happening. And I remember it was like in 2020, I think, maybe 21 was the first time I actually looked up the word gaslighting, because it started to come on my radar and I didn't really know what it was, nor had I ever pointed at someone saying that they're a gaslighter, because I didn't know what it was. And I had to sort of figure that out, that it's somebody that's trying to change your own perception of reality. That kind of thing will start unplugging important wires in your brain where you're just not functioning. It's like having an engine and someone's taking the spark plugs out. It's just all of a sudden you're not functioning correctly. You're second guessing yourself. You don't have any faith in yourself. You are not confident. It is so important to be confident. Everything that you do, that you put yourself in, I'm the type of person that dives into things head first. You have to do that with confidence. And these personalities will literally unplug your confidence from you, and then you just become a shell. I remember when I was out of it in 2021, I started looking at videos by coaches, narcissist videos, documentaries, all kinds of stuff. And I realized I feel like I'm just a shell of who I was when I met this person. When I met this person, I was on top of the world. And not because of the person, because I was rocking. I was doing well in life. And
It's like when they find you.
That's how
yeah. And then at the end, I was like pretty much destroyed. And I'm rebuilding myself now. And it's like, I didn't expect that kind of a setback in my life, but yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yes. Yeah. You
It's
did.
like a major flip too, right? Like you find them kind of down here, you're up here living the best. And by the time it's all done, like I feel the same way. It's almost like a death by 1,000 paper cuts, right?
Yes.
It's such a slow poison while they're plucking these little, well, I always kind of look at it like this. It's like there's a really great book, and I cannot remember the author at this moment, but As a Man Thinketh, right? And the brain is really nothing more than a garden, and what you plant in it, and then so as the narcissist unplucks yours and they start planting these seeds over time, it goes from things like, oh, that's just a coincidence, to you start to see, you justify it for a while because you want to trust them. Then it becomes a coincidence, and then you start seeing the pattern. And then after that, it's too late, right? By then you're already so poisoned, you start to see a different reality, and that's when the cognitive dissonance starts. So to your point, I mean, it absolutely changes you 100%.
Randy, I love what you just said, and I'd never thought about this. Your mind is like a garden. And when you were just speaking, I heard every word you said, but my brain also did something else. It's kind of like there's two gardens. One's filled with vegetables, all kinds of good stuff, everything good, herbs, spices, all kinds of things. And this one's full of garbage, and it's just like weeds and thorns and thistles. And what they do is they start taking your stuff, and then they say, here, plant this seed. Like, I have some seeds too. Why don't you plant this one? Well, what is it? Oh, those are tomatoes. And you're just like, okay. And you plant it in your brain, and then it grows weeds. And then, but by the time that these weeds have actually grow, you've already taken a whole bunch of seeds that they told you to plant in your garden from theirs, which are all wheat. Now they're just like literally choking all of your stuff, all of your good food. And it didn't come from you. It came from somebody who lied to you.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, when you're talking about any type of relationship where you have trust and love, like friendship, family, romance, you are exchanging ideas and exchanging energy and time with these people. You trust what they say. You trust how they feel because you're giving, the most of yourself. And so I think they take advantage of that exchange to plant those ideas in us and to change us, incrementally. And again, another level of betrayal in dealing with someone who lives, through lies and lives through this idea that the controlling others, controlling others instead of controlling themselves is the way to advance them. And it's, overall, as you change and you don't recognize it, but like the narcissists, you begin to validate your aggression and validate the way that you're being because they've been like this to you. And so your natural low vibrational reaction to something like that is getting revenge, getting back at them. And you get caught in this cycle, this continual loop that they want. They want you to do that. They want you to become a lesser. I'm sorry, what was that?
That's where they thrive. They thrive in that environment. That is exactly where they want to take you to dismantle you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I don't know, like, Coach, what advice do you give to people who are finding themselves again after this?
Say that again.
Well, what advice do you give to the people that you coach when they are, finding themselves again and trying to untangle, the behaviors the narcissists, gave to them?
So, I mean, the first thing, you got to just have a lot of self-compassion and a lot of patience, but it's all about going back to the beginning, the earliest childhood trauma, and really getting to know yourself. Trauma, we're like an onion, right? And so trauma is going to be part of this onion, and you're peeling a lot of layers back to get to the root cause, right? So to me, it's all about understanding that this is going to be a journey. We're all very capable and we're worthy, and we have to go back to the beginning. Number one would be, in your immediate, go back to before you met the narcissist and start to remember who you were. What did you want? What were the things you liked? What were the things that you valued? And then, write all that stuff down. But also on this other side, it's okay, what do you know about yourself now? What are some of the things that have changed that you've experience that now have changed your outlook on life and who you want to be and the things you want to accomplish. And then it's about merging, kind of integrating those two things into become your most authentic self, right? Who you wanted to be before the narcissist, who are you now? Who do you want to be, and how do you integrate that now? In the healing, it's all about going back to the childhood trauma, right? Because a lot of us ignored the red flags. If you were in a narcissistic relationship and you went through multiple discards, there is so much complexity to that trauma. And a lot of it comes down to, ignoring the red flags, not keeping your boundaries, being able to set them and enforce the boundaries. And we have to understand why. What makes an empath stay in a situation that they know they shouldn't be in? Why do we keep showing up to prove our worth? Why aren't we internalizing our worth and walking away? And these are the things that we got to find out. And it all stems from childhood trauma.
All right. Thank you. Real quick. Go ahead, brother.
I was just going to ask Coach Randy. So you start, when somebody starts working with you, you start coaching them on how to, I guess, maybe it's journaling. It's just like looking back. You have to start somewhere. You're not going to be in the center of that onion at the beginning. You have to slow and maybe what kind of work is that? Like people talk about shadow work. I was going to buy a book on Amazon about shadow work. Is that sort of, how do you start unpeeling that onion? Is it like journaling, or just
a lot of it's just going to be about,
we can't just remember things. Sometimes we're like blocking stuff out. How do you get those memories?
For sure. So it's going to be a combination of meditation and journaling, right? So meditation is going to be kind of the most important aspect of this, because you have to go on a journey. And in that journey, you're going back to your earliest memories of wherever you can go, and then working your way forward, right? And this is going to be part of visualization, part of just meditating and understanding the narrative, the story. Okay. Now, a lot of people get hung up, and a lot of people, myself included, tell ourselves the wrong narrative about a lot of things, right? And this is part of cognitive dissonance. This is having two conflicting beliefs. So the first thing you want to do is you just want to start going through a journey of meditating back to your earliest memories, right? And the more you do this, the more you're going to start remembering things, and you're going to get back further and further and further and further, okay? And then journal it out. And then from there, now you've transferred the energy and you've got it on paper. Now you're going to start to remember things. Now, the most important and the next step is going to be, what is the narrative that you've told yourself about this? And is that support what it actually was? Or is there a different way to look at the situation that will empower you to move forward? A good example would be, I grew up thinking that I was abandoned. I had abandonment issues, and that actually wasn't correct. So I was actually doing work, but not on the core of the wound, which was neglect. I thought, I was abandoned. Everybody freaking abandoned me but actually nobody really abandoned me. They just weren't there for me emotionally. It was more of a neglect thing. So I had told myself this wrong story, which meant that I was, not really getting to the actual root of the neglect that I suffered from. And shadow work, by the way, some people have shadow work a little bit off. I think shadow work is all about really integrating the parts of you that you hide from people, the parts of you that you're insecure about, or we all hide things from our spouse or from our family, our colleagues, our friends. But to be authentic in your truth, which God calls us all, truth is king, right? Truth will set us all free. And this, to overcome the judgment of others, would be to do the shadow work and to integrate the parts you don't like, the parts that you hide from people, into the parts that you want to be to ascend to your authentic self.
Wow. Well said. Yeah, well said.
Thank you.
Real quick before we continue on to the next, Snowdot Music and Entertainment, good friend of mine, my brother, do a show with him every Wednesday on his channel. Please check him out if you're into comedy. You'll definitely laugh there. Wonderful puppeteer. Jim Henson's middle finger right there. Christina says, figuring out what this was is a blessing. Absolutely, absolutely it is. Yeah. Angela says, I came late in the conversation. What I heard was you cannot make it work with a narcissist. She also says, you can make it work with a narcissist so long as you understand that the relationship will not be healthy. Absolutely, sweetheart. She also says narcissists have an alternate reality. So long as you understand that you are in two different realities, it can work as dysfunctional. And you wouldn't want to do that. But thank you, Angela. She'd know well. Long-term relationship with a narcissist, survived it. Took a lot of things that no one should take, physical abuses, among other things. And guys, if you're in a relationship, I don't care who the type, what type of personality you're dealing with. If it becomes down to abuse, physical abuse, it is not love. That is not a healthy relationship. That person actually hates you. Tina Bojan's in the chat. Go ahead.
The title of the stream tonight is what did you call it? Let me look at it. It's about what you just said. The narcissist never loved you, right? And and that's what we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. And so if it gets to physical abuse, that's kind of proof, isn't it?
It is. And if you remain in something like that, then there absolutely is an issue within you that you need to go to therapy for. You need to talk to somebody about, because if you were taught in early life that abuse is love, that is what you will chase your entire life. Yeah, it's something that I had to discover. So really, doing the work on discovering yourself is so very important. It's not just what the narcissist did or that abusive person. It's what you accept and how you came to a place where you accepted that and chase it. Tina Bojan is in the chat. What is up? Good to see you, sweetheart. Wonderful person. Guys, please check out Tina Bojan and her channel. Kira's in the chat. What's up, Kira? Thank you for joining us. I'm not going to point you out. I'm just going to say, narc abuse survivor, good friend of mine. Thank you very much. Iman is in the chat. What's up, brother? Dante Trax is in the chat. Eric's. I always mispronounce that, Dante. I'm sorry. It's in the chat. Good to see you. Mr. Tickle Trunk is with us tonight. Thank you so much. I thought shadow work was about Carl Jung's idea of the shadow. This is so interesting. Let's see. Free Spirit Collections is in the chat. What's going on? And all right, let's move forward. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Please hit the like button, share out the link, subscribe to all the wonderful people on this panel. Links are in the description. And please follow Marcus Weaver. So here we go. Let's talk about gaslighting.
Oh, a narcissist will put you through the most outlandish ass tests in order to check your loyalty, in order to strengthen that trauma bond, but also for their own personal entertainment. And when you're told, I don't remember saying that, them suggesting that you're confused, you misheard, or you're misremembering shit, telling you that you're just too sensitive type shit, it's one of the many ways that a narcissist gains not just your buy-in, but also your compliance within that cycle of abuse. In the moment, we don't know. You just want to prove your point. You want to get those thoughts out of your head, and you want to express yourself. Thing you realize later is that it was never about the truth to them. It was about the exhaustion it caused you in defending yourself, your honor, your good name. That's why they sat back with that smirk on their face, because they were pleased with the utter chaos and confusion they were causing. And that's some evil ass shit, ain't it? To know that someone you loved you back by making you question your own damn reality every day. Oh, a narcissist.
Ooh, yes. Gaslighting. Scotty, take the wheel. What do you think about gaslighting?
No, I'm interested in hearing Coach Randy talk about this.
All right.
Yeah. So like I said, I didn't even know what it meant. I found a movie from the 40s on Amazon, which I actually purchased back some years ago, and I watched it, and it was about this man who just jumps into this relationship with a woman really fast, marries her, and then starts to like move things in the house, and just starts to like just make her think he's just causing all this chaos in this woman to just destroy her. And I think this is where we get the term gaslight, is because what was going on is that he was also dimming the lights. And this is back in the 40s where they used gas in, for instead of, just like a regular candle. But it's a very interesting movie. And I think the term, just when it comes to just messing with somebody's head and, telling them one thing and then having something else completely different happen, it'll really just start altering your reality, which then will break you down so that you don't trust yourself anymore. And then you lose confidence in yourself, and then you lose your identity, really, because you can lose your mind. It can literally destroy your mind. And I started realizing that this was going on in my life. And the only way to escape it is to get it. These people won't stop. They don't. This is how they operate. So you have to get out, stay out, no contact, right?
Yeah, no, it's all pathological lying. So gaslighting to me is one of the most insidious forms of manipulation. And it really is how the narcissist, waters the seeds they've been planting in your mind that reinforces it. And over time, it starts to grow, right? If the mind is like a garden, then those seeds will start to grow. And gaslighting is a tool that they use. It is one of the most insidious forms of manipulation. And it really is all about, basically stripping down your identity, your reality, insanity and mass confusion. And at the end of it, this is what causes the cognitive dissonance. So to me, gaslighting is the most insidious form of the manipulation.
It is. Roman, I left a link in Dragon Chat. If you're welcome to join the panel if you'd like to. I know you have a lot of experience in this. The lying is what got me so much, because you're being honest, you're being forthright. And this person, every word that comes out of their mouth is a form of manipulation. Every single one, whether they're loving you, whether they're telling you they're your friend, in any story that they're giving you. I literally watched a narcissist tell 3 different versions of a story because she was inebriated, to one person, to another person, and then to me. And I heard it down the hall from the one. I heard it like right at the doorway to another, and then I heard it given to me. And I'm like, how do you keep track of all these different stories? Because the narcissist will lie to you depending upon who you are in their life, what function you perform, and what you need to hear in order for them to keep you in a state of engagement with them, but also keeping the different triangulations alive. The gaslighting is unreal. And when you are, especially if you hold them accountable, God's forbid you hold a narcissist accountable and recant a story that happened as it happened, they will remember it differently. I'm not sure, at times, I'm not sure if the delusion, if they're like prioritize the delusion so much that they actually believe the version of the story that they have in their head that they're denying.
It's both. I think they know a little bit, but they also do believe their own lies 100%. They just reinforce it.
Yeah, and it's like all of the energy. I mean, you think about all the energy that it takes to do all that work, to gaslight people, to keep them in different states of belief as to what's going on. When you
one lie takes 10 more to cover up, and then those 10 lies are going to take 10, and then 10 more take 10. And by the time everything is just a lie. Narcissists are either they're even the truth is half lies, right? It's a powerful.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh, that's the movie.
That's the movie on Prime.
So by the end of this movie, right, he basically starts turning down the dial so that the gas flickers, and so that's how he just melted her brain. When he would turn it down, it would start to flicker, and she would ask, "Hey, is that flickering? Can we?" And he would say, "No, it's not flickering. No, it's not flickering." And by the time then he got her admitted to an insane asylum over it.
And what also gets me is the amount of truth that is also, because they use truth, but they only a small amount of it, like just enough to get you to fall into the idea that they're giving you the complete truth.
Correct.
And it's like, as I was going back, like the amount of work that it takes to maintain this delusion, instead of, I don't know, healing yourself, being a decent person, or trying to be, like, you could progress in life. There's this one narcissist that I've been paying attention to for the last several weeks, who is wonderfully talented. He's a great artist. He can, and instead of putting energy into putting out stories, all of his energy is going into gaslighting people, manipulating, triangulation, creating drama, stirring drama, maintaining drama, deflecting responsibility and accountability, and going back to gaslighting. And it brings to my mind, like, the amount of energy it takes to not look internally and heal yourself, or just be decent, that to have to maintain that illusion and gaslight and lie and keep covering up those lies and reinforcing those lies is staggering to me. I don't understand it. And that's, I think, one of the things that really makes narcissism a personality disorder. It is completely out of order. The priorities are out of order. I understand anyone who comes to me that I talk to, because I talk to some people who have come to me for advice, and you have to understand that unscrewing your mind from all the gaslighting and doubt and the programming that's been done to you takes a lot. And you talking to somebody who's coming out of it, like, you'll still hear them pull back, like, I know they love me, or they showed me that they loved me, or they showed me that this, or maybe it was me. And it's a psychological manipulation that destroys lives. And it takes a lot of strength to overcome, especially if you've gone through it over, like with a lot of Hoovers, like Randy was saying, or over a long period of time. It takes a hell of a lot of inner strength. So, like, I just want to congratulate everybody out there.
If you've gone through that cycle multiple times, it is so devastating to somebody. I mean, it's causing brain damage, both structurally and psychologically, right? And everything about our life is our brain. It's our mind. It's the way we think. And narcissists are pathological, and it's a disorder. It's a disorder of chaos, like you said, Scott. So it's insanity.
It is.
It's so much easier. You know, I think we all were raised, at least here on the panel, we're probably raised to do the right thing, be good to each other, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and just tell the truth. And if you just do that, life's pretty smooth. So what happens with a person that has to lie constantly? And like you said, Randy, you're going to find yourself telling 10 more lies just to cover up that one lie. And then those 10, get 10 more each. And why would you put yourself through that? Like, what is at the core of this, that this whole tree of lies even begins? And it's like new ones constantly are sprouting up, these new trees of lies. Why would you do that to yourself? What is at the core of this, that this, like, a person would even start on that journey of living their life that way? Like, I have a hard time wrapping my head around that. I guess it goes back to their own childhood trauma.
I mean, it does, but it also goes back to we've talked about it before. It's the spirit and the consciousness of evil. I mean, at the end of the day, this is one, they don't have a playbook. There's no playbook out here. This is just it's deception, right? It's all deception. Coercive control is deception. It's control. It's lying, manipulating. It's all these things. But collectively, this is the consciousness of evil. You have the consciousness of Christ and you have the consciousness of evil.
That makes
Well
sense.
said. Yep. Let's see.
There's clarity and there's chaos. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Roman. I forgot you were on a vacation. But have fun and be careful out there. I've seen you climbing mountains, Roman. Don't fall down. Thank you, everybody who's here. Appreciate you, all the wonderful survivors and thrivers in the chat. Thank you for seeing, looking out for one another, talking to each other. I really appreciate that. This is a healing space where we come together and talk about these things and look out for our brothers and sisters who have been through it. Please hit the like button, share out the link, and subscribe to everyone on the panel. We are going to move forward to the next video from Marcus. You are everything the narcissist hates.
It wasn't what you said that set them off. It wasn't that you had some smart ass response. It's because you're everything the narcissist isn't. Patient, calm, understanding, empathetic, compassionate, and most importantly, reasonable. And we don't take that into account, do we? Because it's easier to try and believe that shitty people like this don't actually exist and that they can change. You know, the people that are so selfish, in need of control, and lack empathy for the person they say that they love. So we take the disrespect on the chin, thinking it'll get better tomorrow. They'll blame you less next week. And next month, you'll be happier off together. And at every turn, you've been proven wrong. And that optimistic outlook you used to have on your life, on your career, your success, and the relationship, oh, they're now bleak as fuck, ain't they? You're constantly annoyed, always in fight or flight mode, and this causes you to stick around longer than you know damn well you should have. But that's actually the narcissist's plan, to keep you engaged, so entangled, so disoriented, that you're paying attention to the argument and not to the cheating, the lying, the deception, the manipulation, and the gaslighting daily. Sleight of hand type shit, you know, just like a world famous magician. Tricks happening right in front of your face, except you don't know what the fuck's going on. It wasn't what you said.
Ooh, keeping you completely confused with all that mess. The narcissist picked you guys because, not because you were weak. Yeah, you had to show up your boundaries. You may have been looking for the wrong type of person. You may have believed or given your faith because you have made it through hard points in life and you want to help someone and you think that anyone else can heal, but that's not the truth. They picked you because you were a survivor. You had grown throughout your life because they saw aspects in you that they want themselves and do not have. It's why they put so much energy into protecting that narcissistic shell. And they look at and want to emulate others who have abilities they do not, that they want, that they can idolize. But the moment you forgive, the moment that they have created some havoc and you said, look, I understand you went through this and I forgive you, then you are a piece of trash. Then you are worth being devalued. Then you are worth being attacked and smeared and destroyed because you are no longer perfect in the narcissist's eyes. And so the first thing that they're going to start to do is hook you into this constant trauma, this constant game where they can see how much they can get away with. And they think they're smarter than you. Don't get it twisted. There's some narcs out there with high IQs and we're really good manipulators, but they honestly believe they are smarter than you at every turn. And they honestly believe that because you are dumb enough to care about them, to forgive, to look past mistakes, to keep them around and try and help them heal, which is the last thing that narcissist wants. They look at all of those wonderful, beautiful qualities about you as weaknesses. They look at you as a fool. They look at you as something to be despised and destroyed. And it's not just because you are acting like a fool and giving into their lies at that point, acting stupid in that way, but it's because of the beautiful qualities that you possessed at the time that they met you, whether it was creativity, forgiving others, being charitable, if you were, belief in yourself that did not require destroying other people in order to maintain or pole vault yourself to the next level in the stratosphere of society or work or whatever it was. They admired those qualities, and this is why they seek to destroy you. This is why they try to end you. They hate themselves in general and in short. At the end of the day, they hate themselves, which is why they do what they do to you. So trust and believe that narcissist love bombing you. When you figure out who they were after they did that because they wanted to emulate your strengths and then seek to destroy you once they realized you were as strong as they thought you were. It's about robbing people of light, breaking down their self-confidence, destroying their self, making them look wreck in public, being able to point the finger at somebody else that they've created crazy, and then shifting any blame to that person, watching someone else be exposed for the reactive abuse they're going through, for the silent abuse the narcissist caused, in order to break you down energetically and consume you like a vampire. Narcissists cannot consume high energies. They cannot consume that, that belief, that self-belief, that charity, that compassion, those most wonderful parts of you. They can only consume the darkness, the depression, the anxiety. And that's where they get off, and that's how they thrive. So remember that. The narcissist hated you from the beginning. A part of them hated you from the beginning. And that's because they have a false self, and they cannot stand a person who is authentic, who is light, who is positive and powerful, and especially one who believes in themselves. That's my thoughts on it. So I had to go preach on it for a minute. Randy, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, you nailed it exactly right. Narcissists want something from us, right? And they envy us for the things that we have, and then they break you down for those exact same things. And this is how it plays out every time. The things they admire about you end up being the weapons they use against you. And they try to do this exchange where they're taking a lot of that, so they go through this, the devaluation phase, the manipulation, and all of this control, and the ultimate demise of you is what really gives them the most amount of supply. They absolutely get off on this. This is where they want to be, because this is domination, superiority, and ultimate control, and a complete assassination on the victim's identity, right? So the narcissist, they want to take some of this from you while they're giving the projection back and making you feel bad. So it goes like this, because they can't have a deep sense of self-belief because they don't have a sense of self. It's all false. Mm-hmm. It's all fake. You nailed it, Scott, really.
Scotty, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah.
It's all
Which part, Randy?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a little. Ask me a question.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, no problem. No, it's when it comes to what you kind of have a little bit of experience with this. You run into a narcissist who love bombs you, wants to be a part of your life, wants to emulate you because they see the strengths in you, and then they want to break you down because of the same strengths that they idolized in you. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think about this stuff every day. I still find myself ruminating on these things because I still have a lot of work to do on myself, because I understand that it's a spiritual thing, but just in the last 2 years, this is all still new to me, just to really understand that people like this actually exist, because I exist in a place of trying to be honest with myself and just being logical about things. And this is so illogical. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
To target a person that's minding their own business, to dump to make them, feel like you care about them, and then to just pull the rug out from underneath them for what? I mean, I just don't function that way. I've never targeted someone before. I don't know what it's like. I mean, I can shoot guns and things like that. I understand targeting, but I've never targeted a person to feed off of them and then destroy them and then make sure that everybody hates them. it still just boggles my mind that people do this, and that I got way too close to the, and you know, I actually look back at my past and my personality. I've been susceptible. I've been targeted before, not just in the last 10 years, but like even 20 years ago, this kind of stuff happened to me. And so I have like this history of being a people pleaser, too nice. And these people see me a mile away, and I will, I'll try to help them. You know, it's kind of like that white knight syndrome. They act like a victim, and then they tell you all their exes were just horrible to them, and you're like, oh, well, you're gonna love me because I'm not like that at all. You're gonna really appreciate me because I'm fun, I'm funny, I'm smart, and then, but it was all a game. You know, it was all a game. They knew, like So I'm trying to not be that person. That now that I understand what it is, there's a name for it. There's psychology. There's a, you know, we're talking about it. There's plenty of information about this. And so you have to guard yourself with knowledge, and knowing is half the battle. And I realized I went through most of my life as a target for these people. And it's happened a handful of times. And now finally, I'm halfway through my life and I finally get it. But now I'm trying to reason through it, and reason doesn't work.
No,
It's like,
no.
Not at all.
All you can do is learn how to protect yourself, have boundaries, understand that the wonderful qualities that you, Scott, are not to be shared with everyone, because there's people out there that want to use that. There's people out there that want to take advantage of who you are and your good nature. And protecting yourself is paramount. Protecting your peace, because there are absolutely people out there who deserve it. You know, and you know, thank God you're managing to get through this and still maintain being a good person. That's what the narcissist didn't want. That's what a narcissistic personality, toxic person don't want. They want to drag you down. They want to make you as miserable inside as they are. That's why they target you for these types of things. And somehow in their sick mind, at least to some of them, some that I've engaged, they really think that you are fake, that you're the fake one. You're the liar. You're the manipulator. Nobody's that good. I'm not that good of a person. You must be fake. And then so that's why they target you. It's destroying something that they both want to be, don't believe in because they're not putting the work into being that way, and destroying others who do display those types of personality traits. Don't be like the narcissist. You know, my whole journey on this, guys, has been don't be like the narcissist. Okay, how do I not be like the narcissist? Don't do what they do. And then I get to go back and look at myself and say, oh, I have been like this. And it wasn't just in reactive abuse. I've also been selfish in these ways, or I've also like bullshitted myself into believing certain narratives because I needed to protect my own damage, which is a sick thing to do, you know, and then having to work through those. I don't want to be like that. It's a struggle for all of us, and the different, and all of our life experiences are different. So, like I said, self-exploration is one of the most powerful tools that I have, that I've found to bettering myself and make me less susceptible to people, not be a people pleaser, not have weak boundaries. Not everyone's words matter, y'all. You have to make sure that a person who is promising you something or saying something means what they say. Pay attention to their actions, not their words, how they move, you know? And all too often I have been susceptible to the idea that a person in a crowd of troublemakers, that one person's a good person. No, that one person is better at fooling others than the rest of the troublemakers in that crowd. That's all it is. All right. Like does attract like, you know? And so if anyone would like to add off of that or not, I'll move on.
I was gonna say, kind of like at the beginning of your journey. Remember, you said that you were mirroring the narcissist, and then you realized
Halfway.
later that that is like that's like becoming them, right? Because it's a mirror, and so I think it's natural once you realize this evil, that what they've done to you, you naturally want to seek revenge. You naturally want to use their name. Like right now, none of us are calling in. We're not talking about names. We're talking about the concepts and our experiences, but we're not calling anyone out. There's no smearing going on here. But there's a temptation to do that.
Yeah.
And revenge and like doing something, but that would be being like them. And so we bite our tongue and we don't engage in doing anything to them. We just get away. I think because it's a game that can't be won, right?
the winning the game, and as far as like the idea of it being a game, is bettering yourself and being a better person and progressing. Yeah, you know, because the karma is going to come back to the narc. It is. They look at how they live. They live in lies and delusion. They live in like destroying other people, ruining others. I'm watching right now a narcissist that has destroyed, come after me and destroyed. God, I can't, like about probably 100 other people in the last 5 years, using his popularity and his fake face to progress. And I'm watching all of the people who have seen this for years, been prey victim to it, any friend of someone who's been victim to it, all coming out at once. And it's like narcissist is finally getting their karma, finally being exposed. The narcissists will be exposed eventually. They will get their karma. You have to have faith in that. You know, it's not for us to judge. That's God's job. It's not for us to judge. Let him do it. Let her do it. Let source take care of it. The way you win the game is to continue to grow and be a better version of yourself. Continue to grow. Don't lose those good qualities in you the narcissist tried to rob from us. That's how I look at it.
And they might cross somebody who
who's a better narc than they are. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, before we go on, there's a couple things in the chat. I just wanted to recognize the chat because the chat is where it's at. You guys are the reason that I'm here, and thank you so much. Socialize says, a narc cannot keep track of their lies. That's where gaslighting comes in. It must keep you confused. Right. Because the more confusion that they can create, the more control they have. And like Marcus was saying in that video, then they can get away with stuff, in the periphery and behind your back that you won't see because you're so concentrating on defending your name or figuring out what's going on from the third to last lie that they gave you. This is something important that I've heard a few times. If you knew, I think Marcus actually said this too, if you knew everything that the narcissist was doing while they were with you, then it would destroy you even further. You're never going to know everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Iman says, if you're going to lie, you have to have a good memory. Narcs don't. Lies on top of lies. Some narcs do, but eventually, like, lies collide. Like I was telling the story about the one person that I knew that would tell people different versions of events who, depending on who they were. Eventually, those stories collide. Like the last thing, and this is actually one of the reasons why a narcissist does not want you to talk to other people. If you'll notice, and I think this is pretty common, I've seen it a lot. A narcissist will get upset with you, will like even threaten you if you dare talk to another person that they're gaslighting or another person that they're messing with, because they have to maintain that they are the enemy so that you don't compare stories, you don't compare notes and figure out who the real liar is. That happens all too often.
That's why they engage in isolation. They keep everything separate, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
I was isolated big time.
Bad Take Tina Bojan says, my mother used to make up stories about things that I, my siblings, and my father never did to make us look saintly. I only wish I recognized her narcissism before she had time to hurt my sons. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Tina. But at least you did recognize it at some point and understood how to protect them. So I know your sons are your world, Tina. So it's hard for all of us. Like, it's strange, Tina, because like I've actually known Tina for years. We've streamed together and stuff. I didn't know that my father was narcissistic. I didn't even know what that was. I just knew that he was like, sometimes he would love me and sometimes he was just do the worst things or say the worst things or try and bring up things that he knew would hurt me. And it wasn't until I understood what narcissism was that I knew how to when to be around him and how to deal with him at certain times. But not only that, how did it affect me? And how did it, as him bringing me up, how did it affect me as a person? And I had to go back and look at that and then fix those things, or at least deal with them, recognize them, integrate them. It's a tough road, Tina, but I think you have managed, my good friend, to do it beautifully. I know how much of a good person you are, and you're from Chicago, and you've hung out with gangsters. So don't trust that gun-toting woman right there. I'm just saying, don't disrespect her. You can trust her, but don't disrespect her. All right, you never know. You might end up in the lakes. Good to see you, Tina. Angela says, what really astounds me about narcissists is how emotionally disconnected they are. The disconnection. So, I mean, okay, emotionally disconnected as in, I think when they prioritize their fake self. But all of that comes from avoiding their traumas, avoiding their problems while recreating them. So, I mean, are they disconnected? This is actually a good question. Like, are they disconnected because they're trying to relive those childhood traumas or those traumas that hurt them? Or are they like too immersed in them, but they just don't recognize them? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think it's a great statement. I would say, to me, narcissists do they connect? It's not the right kind of emotion, right? They're connected to a very dark emotion that they're trying to recreate. Absolutely. When a narcissist first gets with you, they idolize you, right? And so they're connected to a dream reality, a false reality, this illusion, whatever the case, but they don't connect on an emotional level when it comes to love. It's all a false reality and then a very chaotic reenactment of their childhood once they flip.
What do you think, Scotty? Any thoughts?
Well, I was thinking, so Angela says, what really astounds me about narcissists is how they emotionally disconnected they are. And the first thing I thought when you read that, Stephen, is which emotions? Because I've seen narcissistic rage. That's an emotion. They're not disconnected from that one.
No.
The anger. They're not happy. They're not joyful people. That's for sure. And the emotion of love. I've been listening to some videos this week where they just say, they really don't have a place to put your love. They literally don't have the tools to even accept it. It's just they don't know what to do with it. And so when you're loving, I think Richard Grannon said something about that. You give them love and they feed like the Molech. Have you heard him say something like that? They're it's like feeding a false god, but they're not actually receiving your love. They don't know what to do with that, and they don't want it anyway. They don't even want it. They're not looking for love, which blows most of our minds because all of the rest of us are, and maybe we're looking for love in all the wrong places sometimes, but we're actually looking for love.
But their definition of the love is different, right? So they fall in love with what they think you are and what you can offer them, right? It's transactional that way. So they're not loving an authentic Randy, for example. They're not getting to know me. They're getting to know more about what I can offer them, provide them in terms of supplies, sex, support, security, fame, fortune, money, whatever the case is. They're attached to the emotion of what they're getting out of the supply. But when that flips, then they're attached to the emotion of control, anger, rage, disrespect, and all of the chaoticness of their childhood. Because when they switch, it's all about you become the enemy because they feel like you deceive them. When they see you're human and you start like we were talking about earlier, once you start to hold them accountable, you start to see what they're doing, you know what I'm saying? And you forgive them. This is a slippery slope because this is where they start to get empowered. So they're not necessarily connected to love at all. It's their connection in the beginning is it's the idolized you. Yeah. That's not you. And then it's what can you give them? That's what they're attached to.
And I think depending...
That's why they monkey branch so fast, is because once they're done draining you and you have nothing left to offer, they're looking at the next shiny new toy, where we were looking for love and it just all fell apart. And the last thing on our mind is to find a new lover or, someone to replace that or to give us love, because everything's just destroyed. Whereas they monkey branch and they're just off to, it's like they're going to the store. I'm just going to go buy a new one. Oh, it broke. I'll buy a new one.
Yeah, two things off that statement, Scott. One is something that I've had to deal with, which is going to the root causes of your toxic behavior from childhood, and then figuring out that you put Band-Aid over Band-Aid over Band-Aid over Band-Aid over something instead of healing the original trauma, which creates, creates all kinds of unknown issues in you, because the foundation of everything that you build in life has these cracks that can at some point, for no reason, if you're triggered, if a deep trauma is triggered, a goblin can just hop into your mind and make toxic things happen or be self-destructive. Another thing is, I believe that due to whatever traumas are associated with the need to create the narcissistic shell, if they were not, they're obviously not taught what love is. So they may have been taught that abuse is love, neglect is love, running away from your problems, like however they were treated is love, and not what healthy love is. So one of the reasons I think they can't accept it or have no place to put it is because they're misinterpreting what love is. You know, they think that, you know, like they think that love is being abused. And so that's what that kind of excuses why they do what they do, and also excuses the cycle that they place themselves in. That's what I think. Mr. Tickle Trunk says, I love these streams. I'm starting to think I worked under a narcissist for under 6 months who used to work at a large corporate studio, EA. Love learning about this stuff. Well, thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk, because a part of this, it's not just about recovery and helping everybody out, other people out, but it's also, you know, like letting people know what narcissism is. You know, I put that tweet out several weeks ago. I'm glad it got a lot of traction, because if you don't know, then if something happens to, you know, someone you love, family member, a child, a friend, and you see them falling apart out of nowhere, becoming self-destructive, and you have no idea how to help or what's going on, you may not necessarily be able to help if they're caught in a trauma bond, but at least you can recognize what's going on and understand that at some point that person is going to reach a level, or could possibly reach a level, where they want to unalive themselves. And they really need a support system there who can be forgiving and understanding that they're going through something, you know, that's manipulative and controlling and has affected them so deeply that they don't even want to be alive. So I think it's important for everyone to at least have a grasp on what NPD is. Not only that, but all cluster B personality disorders, or any disorder that causes someone to be like this. Because there's other personality disorders that do the same type of behavior, like avoidance do the same thing for different reasons, but they do the same thing. So understanding that may help you in the future with a loved one who is going through one of the worst times in their life, and it will that education may help you to be able to be there for them, even though they're being self-destructive, which is really a cry for help. So thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. I appreciate you, man. Let's see. Let us move on to the, oh, wait, no, I'm sorry, Kevin. Let me say hi to Kevin real quick, because Kevin's in here. Where's he at? Another narc abuse survivor and thriver, our boy Kevin Jung. What's up, man? Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everybody who's here. Remember to smash that like button. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Do your best to suffer no fools. Let's talk about the narcissist loves you with conditions. Oh, okay. Let me sorry, had a snafu. Let's do it.
It's only if you do things exactly the way they ask, in the time, manner, and precise location they deem necessary. And that's only 0.01% of the time. The other 99.99% of the time, you were wrong, even if you did that shit right. Narcissists always have to make their love conditional. See, because why would they ever want to give you their all? There has to be an absolute out of this. You know, the out they use when they discard you for the new supply, telling you that you were too difficult to deal with. You weren't trying hard enough. You didn't appreciate them. You just refused to change. You know, all the shit they were actually unwilling to do. And the only success we see in narcissistic relationships is found far after in the healing phase, months or even years later, on how to love ourselves better, setting proper boundaries in our life, sticking by our fucking words in the first place, that you'll never allow another motherfucker to walk into your life and take for granted your most precious resources, your time and your energy. But this also allows and prepares you to love good people better in the future, because the intuition, the genuine nature of that good energy is more welcome when you've escaped the fucking matrix. It's only...
Oh, hell yeah. Preach, brother. Love yourself. Learn to love yourself. You did not deserve what that narc did. You didn't deserve, doesn't matter if they're a family, friend, whoever. You did not deserve you did not deserve the deception. You did not deserve to be told that you weren't worth nothing. You especially didn't deserve to be told that you were something you were not, while they were pointing and projecting all of their ills upon you. You know, that is, I love hearing that, because that's where I'm at right now. Love thyself, create strong boundaries. I ain't taking this shit. Whenever I come into a low moment, which I still do, this past week, I hit a low. Remember, you were not deserving of the conditions that person put on you, the unfair conditions that they did not live up to. Narcissists are nefarious for doing this, whether it's a friendship, family, whoever. They will weaponize love. They will weaponize, without even understanding what love is, how your own caring, your own heart against you. And that is, I mean, that's evil. That's evil in my opinion. Randy, please speak on it.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. I think it all comes down to just understanding that, we all need to figure out how to heal from this and love ourselves, right? Narcissists, they are conditional. It's all transactional. But we do get, at the end of the day, this is how I feel about it. We get the gift of discernment at the end of the day. Once your eyes are opened, they're open permanently. Once you see it, you'll never unsee it. So now you get to really go on this self-discovery of how to love yourself. And I think a lot of people need to understand that self-love and self-care are two completely different things. And once you really understand how to love yourself, like Marcus was saying, man, the doors just open up, because we are special. The amount of love, compassion, and empathy that the victims of narcissistic abuse have, we work so hard to love this person while they're, just manipulating, controlling, and with the conditional love, it's like you try to meet their needs, but they're always moving the goalpost. They're always dangling the carrot while moving the goalpost, and it's all just one circular deal. So at the end of the day, we get to now go and find out who we are and rebuild ourselves. But learning to love yourself will ensure that you're going to be safe as you go out and navigate the life again, so that doesn't repeat again.
Yeah, Scotty.
I just turned off my camera and ran into the other room to get a book. I bought this for myself for Valentine's Day.
Bring it up. Yeah.
Have you guys heard about it?
No, I haven't.
No.
It's a #1 bestseller right now. It's on Amazon, and it's really good. It's really triggering too.
Healing is.
I haven't even gotten since Valentine's Day. I haven't even gotten all the way through it, because it's it really is like a step process, and it shows a lot of different ways to, like, every day just do things differently, and just very interesting practices about how to actually love yourself. It was written at a time when this guy was just at his lowest point, and he started to just can I read the back of it?
Go right ahead.
It's a self-published phenomenon, now fully revised and expanded. It says, I almost didn't publish Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. Here I was, a CEO who had fallen apart after his company failed, writing a book about how loving himself saved him. I thought I'd be a laughing stock and my career would be finished, but I stepped through the fears and shared my truth with the world. The book went viral. Amazing people all over bought copies for friends and family. For some, this book saved their lives. For others, it was the first time that they had ever loved themselves. Many readers reached out and asked questions. This taught that to create lasting impact, I had to go deeper. So 7 years later, here it is. All the questions I received resolved. My intention is that by the time you finish this new edition, not only will you be committed to loving yourself, you'll know exactly how to do it, and most importantly, how to make it last. And it's one of the most interesting books I've been digging into in a while, because it's methodical.
I'm curious about that book. So my first coach, Dr. David Tian, phenomenal guy. And this is when I first started learning about, shadow work and healing childhood trauma. One of the things that he teaches about loving yourself is really about meeting your own emotional needs, right? We have universal emotional needs, things like security, love, connection, contribution, significance. These are going to be, universal emotional needs. And we're meeting these needs every single day, right? But how are we meeting them? Are we meeting them in a way that empowers us or holds us back? And I think once you learn how to really, meet your own emotional needs, this is when you kind of crack the code on loving yourself.
What's the biggest takeaways you're getting so far from that book, Scott?
Yeah, I'm curious.
It's been about a month since I opened it, and so I need to go back and start rereading it. But it starts out with just some very interesting. It just talks it just talks about a lot of meditation, but there's these mental loops that you go through. He breaks it. You can see each page, it's broken down into very bite-sized pieces. And it's just a very, very interesting, very interesting. And I got to dive back into it. I think it's in 3 pieces. It's sort of 1, 2, 3. sections, and I kind of got hung up on a certain area, which is personal stuff, and so I was just like, put the book down for a little while. But I realized when I started to read it, like I realized that this book has some serious answers in it for me. And but you know, I battle with procrastinations, and because of my trauma, I battle with the other things that come against me doing the thing that I need to do. So
yeah, defeating yourself is one of the hardest things, isn't it? Because it takes so much energy to heal. You know, and then especially when you get triggered and you go through those low moments. And the important thing is to remember that those moments pass. And one of the things that motivates you again is loving yourself. So very important part of healing. You know, how to love yourself in a healthy way. Because, I mean, I think that more often than not, a person who's susceptible to narcissistic abuse or you know, domestic abuse or abuse of any kind is because they didn't know how to love themselves properly. You know, now I know. I'm never taking this shit again. Yeah. I've never, the minute I've even sensed gaslighting is more the moment I even interpret that a person is being manipulative. That's it. Okay, good. I'm not even calling it out. I ain't getting mad. It's bye-bye. All right, nice to know you. That's it. I'm done. You know, and that's part of loving yourself. Don't accept that nonsense fuckery in your life. You know? Thanking everybody that's here. I see you, Rester out there, Kevin out there talking, illuminating Free Spirit Collections, who is going through a situation at the moment. A friend of mine I've known for a very long time, going through her own thing, and she's being strong, smart, and loving herself. Congratulations to you, sweetheart, and keep rocking, babe. Keep rocking. Do not lose faith in yourself. You know who you are, what you have to do. You have the exit plan. Execute it flawlessly, and then when you've got your space, begin that healing process. Begin that healing journey. Much love to you. You know, she's in the middle of that right now. Let's move on to talk about the trauma. See, because one of the things that's not our fault, guys, is what they did to us, how we were treated. That was their actions. Our faults were staying in it to a degree. Our faults were being susceptible, but you work on that as you heal. But do never, ever believe that you are completely at fault, no matter what they gaslight, no matter what they told you, no matter what your depression, whatever your insecurities want to tell you, you were not at fault for being targeted by a con artist whose intention was to break you down. And Marcus, speak on it, brother.
Until you understand you're still carrying the same pain, the same trauma, the same triggering emotions into every aspect of your life. Until you realize how annoyed you are at silly shit that really shouldn't bother you. Until you realize that you're holding on to all that pain and always feeling like you gotta be the strongest fucking person in that room. And that ain't nothing but a facade. You need a hug. You need love. You need support. You need someone with good character. You need honesty. And you know what else you need? To stop denying that you're as hurt as you truly are. Those trapped ass feelings ain't going nowhere. And for every brave face you put on daily in front of your kids, your family, your coworkers, and your friends, that pain ain't going anywhere. Speak it out and seek it out in counseling or coaching. Express those pent up emotions when you feel low, when you don't feel motivated, and be the change and positivity in your life you wish to see and have in another part. Because you can't possibly expect somebody to come in and love you right if you won't even love you right in the first place. Until you
Amen. Amen. Scotty, yeah, you know, since we started talking, you know, you're going around the same track that we all are. I think Randy, myself, and just about every other person who talks about these things. And that is working through it, admitting how much we were hurt, facing it, you know, learning how to love yourself and overcome. So, I mean, how has that journey been for you over the last 2 years, brother?
I've learned a lot about myself. I've really, what this type of abuse does when you come out of a narcissistic relationship, or I mean, whether you realize that it's your parents or somebody in your past, in the now, and you realize that this is a thing and that you've been treated this way and you didn't deserve it, and you're actually a decent person, not perfect, but you're a decent person and you don't behave like this. It forces you to take a really good look at yourself as to like, why was I not protected from this? Because it's up to me. Why did I just like let the doors, come on in? Why did I do that? it really forces you to take a good look at yourself and to realize where your weaknesses are, where you need to get strong. It's kind of like you never looked at yourself in a mirror, and when a mirror was finally presented in front of you and you stood there in your underwear, you're like, I have no tone, I have no muscles, I'm skinny, I'm like literally 30 pounds probably underweight, I have no muscles, I've not been working any of them, I have no definition, I look like a complete weakling. And that's how we can be emotionally, and we just think that we're safe. Reality is that a safe person is a strong person. And so you need to strengthen yourself. And this is also fitness is like I've said before, you get your body strong, it's going to really help your head. Coach Randy knows that too. And so going through this process, it forced me to look at my weaknesses. And but I'm the type of person that can. Narcs can't.
Right. That's important. Randy, any thoughts on that?
No, you're right on. I mean, number one, I mean, going through the recovery phase from this kind of abuse is horrific, right? I mean, the levels of deception, the layers of the onion that you're peeling back, you're going to childhood trauma, you see evil people now, the veil's been lifted and you're just in shock and awe for a very long time. But Marcus, he nails it again. He's extremely good at telling story inside of the emotion, right? The biggest thing is you got to go through it to get through it. You got to feel it to heal it. And all of that's going to take you on a journey. Now, you can go sit down and over time, you will heal. You'll feel better at some point. You'll become desensitized to it at some point. But the level, you probably will go on and repeat the process or do it again and again and again. This is the opportunity to get to know yourself, to be self-aware. Why did I stay? Why did I allow this? Why did I ignore the flags? This is the opportunity to really do the work. And that there's a blessing in that. And that's something that, we got to find a little bit of gratitude for.
Absolutely. Kira says, I'm learning that triggers aren't always negative. When you've committed to learning about yourself, it's very eye-opening. Healing is triggering. It absolutely is. Especially the dark, murky spots where you realize you've let yourself down and you didn't even realize it. Or you were thinking in certain ways that were self-defeating because of something you never faced, but you thought you had gotten over. Or you would push to the side for so long, you got used to avoiding it. The triggers are a great sign to tell you that something is bothering you. That's how I look at them. When I feel my heartbeat raise or I start, getting angry at something, if I've read something or saw something or heard something that I shouldn't, why am I getting angry right now? I'm triggered. And why am I triggered? Because of something from my past or something in me that needs to be recognized and looked at. And that's how I face them within myself, Kira. So you're absolutely right. The trigger itself is a negative. Going and finding out what triggers you, why, and how to heal yourself is nothing but a win. Nothing but positive. It's that hard, grimy work, that work you got to do in yourself to figure out who you are and make yourself stronger. Controlling those, knowing how to control those, recognize them, that's a superpower in my opinion.
Agreed.
I heard somebody recently say. I heard somebody recently say that, or maybe it was like a Stoic saying that. Problems aren't something to avoid. Like, problems aren't something that's in the way of your path. Problems are path. You seek them out, and when you find a problem, or in this case, a trigger, you have to face it and approach it and deal with it. And that it's kind of like connecting the dots of your path. You're not supposed to go around those things. Those are the things that you need to do. That's the path.
Right.
The problem isn't the problem. It's how we view the problem.
Right.
Exactly. Well said. Deborah brings up a good point.
Jack Sparrow, by the way.
Deborah brings up a point. She goes, I try to watch funny stuff like Snow Dub because I don't want to watch sad and depressing, angry stuff after being too messed up with people. Well, yeah, definitely. Education's great. Being around others who have been through similar experiences is wonderful because you get to express and feel, and also learn how to feel again in some ways, and support others who have been through it. But being entertained, you can't live in it. You cannot live in this all the time, or else you're not growing as a person. You need that entertainment time. And visiting people like Snow Dove Music and Entertainment, a lot of the other wonderful channels out there, is a great escape. You know, guys, please subscribe to Snow. He's working real hard out there, and he's also on Wednesdays with me out there on the front, pointing out toxic people, toxic behaviors, why you should avoid them, what's going on. So he's also involved, but most of his content, fun, puppeteering. You guys will love it. Please check out Jim Henson's Middle Finger, my boy Snow Dove Music and Entertainment. Real quick, Papa Cotton, Hail Trans Fat in the chat. What's going on, dude? Thank you so much for being here. That's right. Hail to CC. All right. And also, Angela, I'm going to watch that show. What's the show you were telling me about? Angela says, I hope you all watch Mildred Pierce. Her daughter became a narcissist because although Mildred gave her all of the material things, she didn't give the child the love and nurturing. I am going to check that out. I am. A friend of mine and I are going to watch that together. And she says, you can see a child develop into a sociopath. Truly sad, but also educational and understanding of what's going on with certain people. And there's a link out there for Snow Dove, guys. Please subscribe to Snow. All right, let's go on to the next segment. There was never fixing the narcissist, which has always been a big problem, at least with me. I don't know about y'all, but I kept trying to fix the unfixable, trying to find the magical combination that would unlock that magic chest that I bullshitted myself into believing was inside that person, that would open up and realize all the sacrifices and the damages and all the struggles that I had gone through to heal to that person, to be there, to teach them love, or be that loving person they never had. And unfortunately, unless you strike gold and that person decides to go to psychotherapy and really change, it's never going to happen.
Oh, they'll always keep you sold on potential. They will always breadcrumb you, keep you hanging on to perception that ain't really reality in the slightest. See, we think our love is special, magical even. But, this is a big ass but, that's only until you've tried everything you can think of. Tried explaining situations 1,000 times over, driven yourself crazy trying to make them happy, only for it not to be good enough. And then, turn right back around when rejected and try harder the next time to meet the same exact fate. Oh, but eventually reality sets in, don't it? It was never about you, the unhappiness, the rudeness, the meanness, the shitty communication. Nah, this was about your narcissist ex's inability to give you something they don't have. But think about how difficult it is for someone who thinks they are living a fairy tale in the beginning of that relationship, that it was all just literally a dream with a nightmare of an ending. The type of nightmare you try waking up from only to feel paralyzed, stuck, and in fear that this shit is actually real. But when you finally wake up, you're more exhausted than you were when you went to sleep, sweating and in a panic. And that is literally what it feels like when you have to deal with a monster every fucking day of your life. Oh, they'll
There's a couple of takeaways I have off this just real quick before I pass it on to the panel, and that is one of my issues. Like Scott was mentioning earlier, the white knight syndrome, was there was a little bit of gaslighting myself involved in that situation. And I think I'm not going to project this on anybody else. I don't know if it was your experience, but for me, I wanted to believe that I could help this person. I wanted to believe I could be there for them and love them. But, you can't help someone who doesn't want to help themselves. And if you have that mindset, you become susceptible to their manipulation and their love bombing and breadcrumbing because you really want to believe it. That's where I was. But I also like to say that with my father, going through those experiences with him, I wanted to believe that, it was just, things were what they were when he loved me, when he said certain things to me, when he was being the good dad, and tried to help him change and recognize that what he had said or what he had done was wrong. Because there was a level of I'm sorry involved. There were times when he hugged me and said, I'm really sorry for being shitty in this way. And I wanted that to be the truth, and that maybe that was part of him. But still, a person who truly wants to change does not keep doing the same things to trigger you over and over again throughout life. So it was hard for me to accept. Randy, do you have any thoughts on that video?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's dead on. It is that white knight syndrome. It is the fact that, we meet these people and we do feel like, at least I do, I feel like, I love very powerfully. I know that everybody I've ever dated has elevated their life because of those things. But with a narcissist, there is no fixing them. And this is where they get off, right? They get off on watching you jump through those hoops and hurdles to accomplish these things for them, right? This is all part of the MO. There is no fixing them. But I definitely, I believe I've talked to over 500 people in the last year regarding their journey with toxic and narcissistic, abuse and patterns and these things. And the majority of us, and again, I don't speak for everybody, just a lot of the conversations, it seems like a high percentage of people, we do gaslight ourselves. At some point in the process, we gaslight ourselves to think it's going to change. Maybe it's going to be different this time. And this keeps us in a very, toxic cycle just within our own reality and the things that we perceive, right? So dangerous game.
Absolutely. Scotty, I know that you've been a very loving, compassionate, spiritual man for your entire life. And you've talked a little bit about like the white knight, how it triggered the white knight in you with not just your narc ex, but also in previous relationships. So what have you learned about yourself in regards to, believing in others and wanting to help them after recognizing that made you susceptible to narcissistic abuse or toxic abuse?
I've learned that saying no is a very powerful thing. And just that not everybody has I guess I sort of grew up, everybody thinks the way that I do. Like I have everybody's best intention at heart. Naturally, I want everyone to succeed. I want everyone to do well. I want everybody happy. And I just naturally thought that that's how people thought about me. And then I had to realize there, you can get involved with people that really don't care about you at all. And they will pretend to be good for a while. They will step on your neck. And that is backwards from how I operate. Somebody deceive me so that I feel like I'm the white knight coming to save this woman. I mean, where did that come from? I don't know, but I've done it. Now I realize that if I see that dynamic again, the first thing I'm going to do is question, this is probably not real. Probably not real. I've also had people ask me to do things for them. I'm a graphic artist, designer, and like people have asked, make me a banner for my, hey, will you make me a banner for my YouTube? And if it's a friend, I'll just be like, okay. And then later, like years later, they'll say, hey, can you want to hate my banner? I made that for you for free. Yeah. Oh, it's like that, is it? Okay. When graphic designers will get paid actually to do this kind of, and I've realized that, yeah, I've been stepped on, I've been used, and it's like, wow, I never thought this was going on, but it's like in hindsight, everything's 2020.
That is so the truth. You get these new pair of eyes. We talked about this so many times. When you go through this and you educate yourself and you begin to heal, you can see it all in your past, all the people that have used you, how people can use you, but it's actually a protection mechanism. And in that way, going through the experiences that we all have and healing from it, it really is a growth experience in protecting yourself and not being used. We have some wonderful qualities out there: compassion, kindness, forgiveness, looking for the best in people, or, trying to help someone. These are great qualities. Just there are people out in the world, and they don't necessarily have to have NPD. They can just be toxic. There are people out there that will use you, use these qualities against you. It's going to happen.
And that's important to state. It's not just NPDs that inflict narcissistic abuse. Narcissistic abuse is a definition of a certain patterns, characteristic, and traits that are deployed against a victim. They do not have to be diagnosable NPD. If this is happening, it's narcissistic abuse. This is just the awareness of it, the education behind those tactics, patterns, and traits.
Yeah, because being narcissistic is not limited to someone who has a full-blown personality disorder. It's on the human wheel of emotion and expression. Anyone has the capacity to be narcissistic at a time or at a junction. And just recognizing that, that's a toxic behavior. And anyone can display it. Recognizing it really does help to deflect or get away from someone who has a proclivity for being narcissistic. Well put, Randy. That's excellent, dude. Excellent. All right, so let's move forward. I want to talk about, and we kind of want to lean into where we get to the end of the show, about how the narcissist really doesn't love you. And one of the reasons that you can be proven as to why that narcissist doesn't really love you is how they turn people against you to protect their bullshit.
Oh, the need for attention, validation, and telling you a weird, nonsensical ass story is what they thrive on. See, for so long, you never shared with anyone what you were enduring behind closed doors. So this becomes an opportunity, you know, for a narcissist to get the buy-in of the flying monkeys. Place a narrative out there that you're a horrible person, parent, and a partner. And they didn't just get this shit started after the discard. Nah, they were dropping little hints and gems long before the relationship was over. They've been planting seeds for years. Friends, family, co-workers, basically the same victim mentality they came home to you with every night, to show everybody else that you were hard to deal with, so controlling, so not the person that they met in the beginning, you know, everything that they are. But all of this is another manipulation tactic to make you feel boxed in, to make you yield to their control, to fear that they'll say some crazy shit about you. But the people that know you, and those that don't, a judge, a lawyer, fake ass friends or family, those opinions don't fucking matter. This is a great way to weed out all those who weren't real ones in your life, while also healing your soul, going through therapy or coaching, and finding your footing after the daily dysfunction you had to deal with for far too damn long.
Oh my Lord. Well, actually, I want to let Randy take the helm on this, but real quick, I want to say one of the greatest things about me, my experience, was finding out who my real people were, who believed the lies, who believed what that liar and all her flying monkeys were saying. It gave me a chance to completely cleanse my life of anyone who really didn't think well of me in the first place. But Randy, what do you think of the smear campaign? Why do they do that?
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the smear campaign is all about upholding the false narrative of the illusion that they're trying to have people buy into, right? The smear campaign is all about controlling how people view them and how they view you and how they view the situation. Narcissists start the smear campaign the second you go into devaluation. I can assure you of that. And it becomes, you know, there was times in my story that I kind of knew something was up because there was behaviors in the flying monkeys that were changing. Some of the things that the narcissist was saying to me was, oh, so-and-so said, if you ever need anything, I'll just be right there. And I kept, why would they say that? And by the second, third time that this was said, I was like, that's just not right. Like, why would they? So if you really pay attention, you'll see that or if you're out of the narcissistic abusive relationship, you can look back to when the devaluation started, and that's absolutely where they start doing the smear campaign with the flying monkeys, planting the seeds and starting the narrative. Ultimately, that's going to set up you being the abuser and them being the victim when they finally discard you. And I would agree with you. I think the biggest blessing I got out of this smear campaign and the flying monkeys was the fact that once I saw the abuse, once I understood narcissistic abuse and all of this, I could pinpoint it to all of the friends that I've been carrying all throughout my life, the family and all of these people. And it was, I knew these friends weren't for me, but I just kept them around. But now I understand what it does to me. And so I cut out 4 or 5 friends that I've had 25, 30 years that I've cut out because they were toxic. And I knew that because the whole time I knew how they made me feel. I just never addressed it.
Scotty, how about you, brother? You've gone through a lot of isolation.
Yeah, I was isolated from family severely. And because the narcissist, what they do is if the relationship, they feel like you don't need anything but them. And moved out of state, actually. So that was the whole, I didn't realize the whole thing was a plan. I thought it was for love. And I didn't know, I had no idea that it would end up to be what it is. I thought it was literally just for love. So, yeah, the isolation, you lose during the discard in the relationship that they got the smear campaign. I realized it was that when I was in need, when everything started to fall apart, I reached out to these people and And that blew my mind. Like, you answering my text. What happened? And well, now I know what happened. I don't know what these people say, but it probably has to do with, I don't know. They make up kind of stuff, maybe screenshots of things, or taking video of you when you're at your lowest point, or recording phone calls when they're you nuts and you're responding a bad way out of character, replay them for people. And it's just like, God, you would do that to why? I didn't do anything to you. It's just mine. But yeah, the smear campaign is just, it's terrible. But it's one of those things. I guess this too shall pass, right?
Yeah, I look at it like there's definitely a percentage of people in your life who are going to see what you're talking about, the emails or the voicemails or the texts. Of course, all presented one-sidedly. Guys, please see the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. Perfect example. What Amber Heard did to him, in which to make you look crazy. And by the point you are done protecting your abuser, because you're hoping that this isn't really who they are, and you've come out and you're just acting being emotionally reactive. It's easy to point the finger at somebody and say, look, I told you they were toxic the whole time. They're not as put together as they said they were. They weren't the person that they said they were. You're going to lose. There's going to be a percentage of people who see that and just think that too. That's going to happen. But I believe that the majority of friends, or so-called friends, or people who said they loved you in the first place, that they never really were your friends in that first place. They were using you as some kind of fuel. Not just narcissistic. Not just NPD people do this, that use you as fuel. Some people want to use you because you have something that they want financially, or maybe you have a bigger platform or more shine, and they want to use that to propel themselves. But you will find as you go through this, the lies that they have spread, regurgitated, recycled, reinforced by toxic people around you who first off never liked you, and those who love to see somebody fall. Love to see a good person fall. Correct. And that's why I say in some of my videos, your narcissist is your trash collector. They just collected all the trash people in your life and exposed them for who they are. And now you now have space to fill in with healthy individuals, with people who reciprocate kindness. And that's one of the wonderful takeaways of the experience, the positives, I guess, for me. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and it's hard to do, guys. I understand this when you've been broken down to the bare minimum, and your life has been ruined, or you have to find yourself again, learn how to love yourself, get through all of this, all of what you suffered. But there are positive takeaways from it in rebuilding yourself. This is a life lesson. There's a whole host of life lessons in here that can be a wonderfully positive experience if you push yourself into that mindset. Become a better version of yourself. Like attracts like. All right, a demonic spirit came into your life in the form of a narcissist or an abusive, toxic person. Came in and tested you, and although you may have failed yourself at the time, you can reclaim your spirit, or your connection to source, simply by taking the lessons that you went through dealing with that demon, battling with that demon, and not becoming like them. Don't let yourself fall prey. Don't let yourself think badly about yourself all the time. This is going to be a struggle. This is going to be hard. It's going to take time, but it's all going to be well worth it. Winning that spiritual battle is reclaiming the light that is in your soul. Randy, Randy, you agree? I believe we're on that level.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm about 3-4 days now from 1 year after the 9th and final discard, so almost knocking on this one year mark. And I will say, when you first are exposed to, when you first wake up and you realize what has happened, you realize, there are people like this, exactly like Marcus has put it, your brain's melted, right? You don't know that you're going to recover, but there comes a point where you start to understand the bigger picture of self-discovery, the gift of discernment, the gift of being able to clean out all of these toxic things that have layered themselves on top, friends, family, coworkers, whatever situations. This is a chance to really clean that house and then ascend into a higher authentic self. And this is what we're all trying to do, is elevate, to level our life up. And this is one of the gateways to doing that.
Absolutely, my brother. Thank you, and well said.
Yeah.
All right, Scotty. You know, what is it like battling a demon and then finding that light in your soul again?
Like I've been saying, the G.I. Joe phrase, and knowing is half the battle. Once you realize that you are dealing with a demon entity or someone that resembles one, that's when you can start making choices. But they confused that you can't make clear for quite a while. The whole point of keeping you confused, the confusion, is you don't know what direction to make. You can't see anything clearly in fog, or there's no way to escape it, or to recognize that dealing with. Therefore, this is what I do. And so once you're at least on the other side of it and you recognize it, there's a name for it, psychology to it, learn about it, recognize all patterns, attribute, yes, I've been through that. Yes, I recognize that and this and this, and they did this and this and this, and it must be something connected to cluster B personality disorder. Therefore, I need to make the decision of no contact. And now I need to, I'm getting away from the poison, and now I can clean my lungs out, clean my mind out, clean my, fix myself. And that's first thing, distance yourself from what's hurting you. Then you need to, find a coach like Coach Randy here and do the work.
Yep. Take that. Thank you, Scotty. On the way out, our last video, let's talk about no contact is about your self-respect. And I think this is a very powerful message for everybody. Put it back up. Let's put that up. All right. Here we go.
This is about the self-respect we do or don't have for ourselves, the forgiveness, the self-worth, and the love we are or we aren't willing to give to the person who deserves it most, right? And I get it. Relationships require a sacrifice and a compromise, right? That both people should be making, right? But how much compromise? Not of your core values and your principles, on missing out on those you love and who have love for you, on prioritizing your health, more importantly, your actual safety. See, when attraction is high, when love feels intoxicating, dare I say addicting, especially in the beginning, we lose not only our damn mind, but also our standards. How much do you mean to you? And I mean that quite literally. How much do you value not getting lost in love, but instead loving yourself enough to be authentically you 24/7, to intentionally and powerfully run and scare off motherfuckers that do not align with who you are at a core level? We should not be forsaking ourselves for the sake of love, no matter who it is or what it's fucking for. So find you during no contact, but also refine your expectations, how you respect yourself enough to care about attracting the right energy into your life. This is about the self.
Yes. No contact is absolutely about self-respect and finding yourself. Don't accept someone who's going to hurt you over and over again and lie to you over and over again, who's going to smear your name, collect your enemies, go after your reputation, use you, come back over and over with a bunch of bullshit, try and destroy your soul, try and turn you into them, make you palatable for their demonic consumption. That is what no contact is about. It's about respecting you, being a better friend to yourself, and really putting in the work to create those strong boundaries that will not allow anyone who's deceptive, that wants to use you in your life. That's what no contact is for me. And it's also about clearing your energy, getting rid of that influence. And you're going to need to do that to find yourself. Randy, how important is no contact, brother?
No contact is everything, right? The moment you realize what you're up against, no contact is the number one thing. I mean, you're talking about, protecting yourself from more and more psychological, physical, emotional damage. You're talking about, self-respect, self-integrity, building that back up, the self-confidence that comes with taking your power back and stopping the narcissist from further abuse. And you're talking about the most important aspect, which is, breaking the trauma bond, killing the addiction, right? Killing the addiction to the cycles that we go through, the need to hold the narcissist accountable, or have the narcissist say it's going to be okay, because a lot of that addiction to the trauma bond comes in the form of wanting their validation. So it's about starving this chaotic poison and cleansing the lungs, as Scott had put earlier. It's everything. It's the most vital aspect.
It absolutely is, and it's integral to your healing, cleansing your space, finding yourself again, not being triggered again. All of these things are very important. And Scotty, What is the importance of no contact, brother?
Well, like Randy said, you know, in the what's his name that we were just watching, the other coach,
Marcus.
Marcus. What Marcus just said is that we get addicted to the chemicals, right, in the beginning of a relationship, and you know, the longer the relationship goes, you get addicted to the interactions between this person is in your life, they're in your system. And that's why the narc starts so heavy, so hard. It's like a drug. That's the love bombing. And so, but eventually you get addicted to the cycle of the love bombing and the love bombing, and that becomes normalized. And so, like, just break off from it immediately. It would feel like literally getting off of an opiate. And to some of us, it had to be that way. It literally, it's like maybe you're a complete alcoholic, and then one day you just like stop drinking completely, or you go and and you don't have access to it, and you're not going to feel so great for a while, but eventually your body's not going to need that anymore. You get over it. That's why, you know, 6 months, a year, 2 years, you need to stop letting these people have access to you. You need to stop the text messages, the emails. You need to stop the phone calls. You need to stop looking at their social media, because stuff on to trigger you. You need to just get away. You need to get them out of your head and focus on yourself. It's like off of a drug that's going to kill you.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Scientists, doctors, therapists have all done the studies on this, and it absolutely is the same chemical reaction as going through withdrawals from heroin. You're dead on, Scott. It's going through a complete withdrawal process.
Yes, sir. A long time ago, I understood the relationship between our minds and our bodies, and the chemical. I call it the first chemical addiction is emotions. When as you age through life, the cells in your body, like one of the reasons we do age is because as you take in toxins or as you become accustomed to dispensing certain emotions, the cells they divide, they create less and less receptors for minerals, vitamins, the healthy things that they need. And part of this process comes from the neuropeptides that are ejected by the hypothalamus, which is triggered by memory. So like, let's say that you're a depressed person, you're a person who lives in depression. Well, that's because there's a way of thinking in your mind, the way that your mind works, that constantly triggers or brings up memories, depressive memories, and dumps these, the depression peptides into your bloodstream. Your body gets used to that, gets used to being flooded with this certain type of emotion, this certain chemical. So when they divide, they create more receptors for depression. And it's the same thing for anything: anger, anxiety, gluttony, anything negative. Your body literally becomes accustomed to being fed these certain neuropeptides. So the trick when you're getting away from a drug, because they do the same thing with drugs, with like heroin. So when you are fighting depression, getting over that, or anxiety, or literally breaking away from a trauma bond, and all of the chemicals that are created from being put in that fight or flight mechanism, that anxiety, state of anxiety, your cells have divided over and over again so many times that have created receptors for it. So you are fighting your body, not just the way of thinking, not just retraining your mind, but you're also fighting your body, which is screaming to your subconscious, we're starving. We don't have depression. We should be in anxiety right now. Why are we not hating ourselves right now? We need this drug. And it's fighting the very construct that you have allowed or you have created because of that relationship between mind and body. So it is withdrawal. You are going through withdrawal, and that goes for anything that you have done repeatedly in your life and trained your body to be used to over time. So it comes down to discipline, really disciplining yourself, self-mastery, controlling your mind. Meditation is very important because it's going to be a battle until your body begins to get used to being flooded with happiness, self-love, just all of the positive things that it needs, instead of the toxic chemicals you've been dumping into it for as long as you were with that person, or as long as you have been enacting in toxic cycles due to unresolved issues for your entire life. It's not an easy process. It's very difficult, why you have dreams, why you have nightmares, why you have bad moments, why you go back, why you have those days. It's because you're fighting it. Your body's screaming, why don't I hate myself today? I should be hating myself today. And you have to resist that. And it's step by step, guys, every single day. That's why I said in the beginning, every single day that you spend just a little bit just fighting that instinct to be depressed, every step in a positive direction will add up to something incredible. Yes, thank you, Razor. I was trying to think about all of those, dopamine, cortisol, and adrenaline. I was trying to think of all those, but I couldn't, and thank you. But yes, that's what you're fighting. So it is a struggle, and don't give up on it, because it's going to take time. There is no easy. Go ahead, bro.
And that's the same as every single other drug. Alcohol, gambling, it's all dopamine and cortisol. That is the part of the addiction.
Yep. Thank you, brother. Thank you. So as we end the stream, Scotty, what is your assessment of weed, of Marcus Weaver?
He's really to the point. I can kind of imagine his videos without the editing, like the way he's recording himself, but then he just cuts it up, so it's just boom, 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 and it makes you have to watch it a few times, on TikTok, on Instagram, how it's on, because he moves really fast, but he's obviously experienced. He knows what he's talking about. He's a powerhouse, and I can really appreciate that. Some people's personalities are a little bit more gentle, but I love this stuff. Just I'm not holding back. This is what, and it's wrong. This needs to be addressed, and I love it. He's great. I had only known about him too. Brought him up to me in the last week, but I'm gonna be watching him now.
Good to hear, Scotty. Coach Randy White, what do you think of Marcus Weaver?
I'm sold. I'm a big fan. I've been following him on TikTok, since I started this journey of narcissistic abuse, understanding my own story. I mean, he's been instrumental in helping me, not only just understand, but not feel, not just understanding what I went through, but not feeling alone. He absolutely is a great story. See, I'm a speech and debate geek. I mean, this is one of my things is speech, right? I think he's an amazing storyteller. He's very in touch with the emotions that we go through, on this journey, right? With all this abuse. And so when he does a video, he's very channeled into that story, the narrative, and bringing out the emotion of that. So, I give Marcus an A+, absolutely.
Yeah, I concur. I love his messaging, the energy, the way that he edits. Absolutely, Scott. He edits his videos beautifully. Yeah. I would be interested to see an unedited version where he's just going off raw. What gets cut out, or what he thinks might be too spicy to say, because he seems to have the same energy that I try and project a lot when I'm doing my videos. No nonsense. This is the way it is. F that narcissist. You deserve better. He definitely comes off to me as someone who has been through it, healed through it, has a very strong sense of himself through that healing, and wants to give that to others. He wants to share that with another person, and that strength that he's had. And he's wonderful to me. He's one of the people that I've been watching for about my entire healing journey, and I highly recommend him. A+ to Marcus Weaver.
Amen.
Right. Yeah, man. So with that, I think we're going to end it out. We're rounding about 2 hours. I'm going to give you guys a chance to promote your stuff. Scotty, please go ahead and promote your channel, what you're doing over there.
Well, I've been taking kind of a little bit of a break for the last couple of weeks, working on some other things, so I haven't really been posting a lot of stuff. But did put on my GSONC YouTube channel did version of something that you and I did a couple weeks ago, Stephen, and that was just like the narcissist satanic personality disorder. And I edited it, so there's like stuff on the screen flying around. I do my artistic thing to it. So there's that channel if you want to check it out. It's at GOSOS. It's Get Out, Stay Out, No Contact. Just so there's that. And that's about all I'm pushing at the moment. Mr. Tickle Trunk just donated $2 and just succeeded. Absolutely. We can't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did that all muted. I am so sorry.
Steven,
Coach,
are you there?
tell them
Oh,
where they
yeah.
can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Coach Randy White. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube under Coach Randy White. Basically, I do a lot of narcissistic education, recovery, things of that nature. YouTube, I'm kicking off my first full length video this week. I haven't put a video out in over I've been doing shorts for a while, so you can look out for my first video to come out this week regarding narcissistic abuse on YouTube. Coach Randy White.
Thank you very much, sir. And thank you to everybody that joined us in the chat. Mr. Tickle Trunk, throwing me a little bit of money. I appreciate the bread. He says the best revenge is healing and succeeding. Absolutely. I think everybody in this chat can concur as well as this panel. Because they don't want you to. Narcs do not. Toxic people do not want you to be the best version of yourself. That's why they target you for harassment, abuse, lied about you. It's why they spared your name. It's why they came after you the entire time. It's why every single time that you called them out on their BS, they deflected it, blamed it on you, and then made up some excuse or created another freaking drama someplace else so that really everybody's eyes would shift away from the fact that the person at the center of all the fuckery, manipulation, lies, deceit, is the person that's causing the trouble. You just got to look for the common denominator, and it's usually a narcissist. And also remember that they try to destroy you. Toxic people don't like you shining. So make sure to shine. Bright lights attract moths, and you might have to swat them away. But you continue to shine. Never let anyone question who you are. Doubt yourself. Doubt your ability. Don't let anyone get into your head and make you think differently about yourself in the direction that you can go in, because it doesn't matter what you've been through. It matters how many times you get back up. Life's going to knock you down, and that's just the truth of it. And this is not going to be the last toxic person to come through your sphere. It's not going to be the last person to try and knock you down. It's not going to be the last person to lie about you or try and get you to doubt yourself. But now you know better. Now you're equipped with the tools in order to deal with these demons. Now you know how to recognize them. Now you understand how much you love yourself, how much your self-worth is, and being a better friend to yourself. And now you can recognize the people in your life that actually love you and want to be there for you. So never stop shining, never stop believing in yourself, and don't let any hoovering hobgoblin come back into your life and get you to doubt the progress that you have made. I am author Stephen Walton, the Fandom Menace historian. I am also Lodonis, Ravenwolf Dragonstorm, you seer and sage. Hail to my fellow survivors and thrivers from narcissistic abuse. Remember to wash your hands, wash your ass. Be good to each other, yet suffer no fools.